guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to my new series, my postpartum series, and this is video number 1, and in this video I will be covering weeks 1 and 2 postpartum, even though I'm filming this while I'm in week 3 postpartum. It's just been a crazy 2-3 weeks, and I actually tried to film during week 2 postpartum, and I ended up filming a 15-minute video that was full of me rambling on, and nothing made sense, and my mind was all over the place, and it was just not a very good video. So I decided to re-record it just because while that video is real life and it shows what your postpartum 2-week brain looks like, I was just all over the place and was so disorganized. I didn't want to put that as the first video, so this is a little bit more organized because I wrote everything down, but anyways, so yeah, week 1 and 2, it went by like that, and it was one big blur. A lot of physical, emotional stuff. So I will start with the physical stuff. So if you watched my birth vlog, I talked about how I had a 2-degree tear in my perineum. And so I have been recovering from that. And the first, few days, right after I gave birth, man, it hurt. But the hospital gave me ice packs, and I ended up buying Freedom Mom's ice pads as well. And the hospital also gave me the Dermablast, which is like a spray, a numbing and an analgesic spray to help with the pain. And I also was taking ibuprofen. I think it was like 600 milligrams every 6 hours or something like that. And so between the ice pack, the tuck pads, which is like the witch hazel pads they use for hemorrhoids. I also have hemorrhoids too, so it was like that whole area was inflamed. So I was using the tuck pads, the ice packs or ice pads, and also the Dermablast and the ibuprofen. I managed to keep it in check. It hurt, but it wasn't as bad as it was with my daughter. It seems like with my daughter, my bottom hurt for it felt like a truck had rammed into my vagina. It seemed like the first whole month it hurt like hell. I couldn't sit for the first 2 weeks. I could not sit normally, and I was able to sit normally right off the bat with my son after I delivered him. So even though I had stitches, and so yeah, so there was that. And then they gave me a peri bottle at the hospital, but I ended up buying the Freedom Mom peri bottle because it has it looks like a little shower nozzle, so it sprays right on the area without having you to do some yoga on the toilet trying to get the water to squirt right on and clean the area. So every time I go to the bathroom, I would have to spray myself just to it stung. Every time I peed, it stung. But the warm water from the spray bottle helped cool it off, help wash it off, and then the Dermablast and all that other stuff. Yes, the first poop was very, very, I had a lot of anxiety. I think it was the 4th or 5th day after I had my baby. that I was able to poop finally, even though I was taking Colace and magnesium and probiotics. Yeah. But it finally happened, and the first few were kind of painful, but then after that, everything went to normal. So the only problem is when I go to the bathroom, I feel like I have to wipe. I go through like a half a roll of toilet paper. So sorry, this is not very glamorous. But you know, real life. I'm keeping it real, people. So so there's that. My abdomen, like all my organs and everything, that was kind of painful as my uterus contracted back down, and they gave me a binding belt at the hospital, which was it's been really helpful for when I'm up and around and about, and when I have to carry him for long periods of time while I'm up. That helps too. Also, my back started hurting from because my abdominal muscles are all out of commission right now, and so when I have to bounce him or rock him for long periods of time, my back starts hurting. So there's that. And then the nipples. Oh my God. I mean, I went through this with my daughter. They said, oh, it'll take 2 weeks and your nipples will get used to nursing and all that stuff. It took me over a month before my nipples got used to it. Thankfully, this time around, it was like when I went for my 2-week postpartum visit, my midwife then, this was with my daughter, I told her I was still struggling with my nipples. She prescribed me all-purpose nipple cream, and this time around, I asked for it before I even left the hospital. They brought it to me, and that stuff is amazing because it has there's like antibiotic, and there's like a pain relieving, like some kind of analgesic in it, and also soothing. So it's really helped my nipples get acclimated to the nursing, and I'm still not there yet, but it's much better. And so yeah, nursing has been a challenge. My milk took a while to come in, but that was the same thing with my daughter. And I noticed that when I sleep more, I have more milk. So I'm focusing more on sleep, which I will talk about that in a little bit. All right, so yeah, breastfeeding. So one of the things I'm going to talk about regarding breastfeeding is everybody at the hospital were like, okay, so you want to build your milk supply. You know, I had a lactation consultant come talk to me, which was awesome. But they were all like, you need to pump after every feeding. You need to pump and blah, 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 blah. And I pretty much put a kibosh on that right at the hospital. When they brought me a pump in the hospital, I said, you know what? I need to sleep. So I'm not going to be pumping at night. I'll pump during the day, but I'm not pumping at night. So I focused on my sleep, because with my daughter, I had the same thing. I was pumping, breastfeeding, pumping. By the time I was done pumping and washing everything, it was almost time to nurse again. And so I was never sleeping. And I got so obsessed about my milk supply and nursing and all that, you know, it got my anxiety revved up, and then I went into depression, and yeah, it put me down the path, the crazy train path. So I felt myself going there, and so at the hospital, and I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And she said, the nurse said, okay, well, what do you want to supplement with? And so I made the decision to supplement with formula, and so it took a while because I wasn't pumping all the time, It took a while for my milk to come in, but I have a decent supply, but just not enough. So every like third feeding, I have to make a formula bottle for him. And you know what? I'm okay with that because my mental health is far more important than me trying to make sure that he is exclusively breastfed. He's getting enough nutrients from me, and he's also getting a little formula, and it's perfectly fine. You know what? You do whatever it works for you. And to all the moms who feel guilty that they're not breastfeeding, I understand. Breastfeeding is hard, and I even at one point in that first week, I thought, this is so hard and it's wearing me down that if I don't end up having a milk supply and I dry up and we end up just going exclusively formula, yeah, it makes me sad, but you know what? I'm okay if that's what needs to happen in order for me to maintain my sanity, because a mentally stable mom is worth gold. And yeah, you shouldn't judge mothers' decisions, what they choose. And if you choose to breastfeed exclusively even if it's a cost to your mental health, that is up to you. You do you. So for me, this is what worked out for me, and so far, I'm still, I still breastfeed him as much as possible, and at night, so this is the sleep part that I was going to talk about, because I'm not getting enough sleep. My husband and I, we came to a routine where the first part of the night, he takes over and he watches Ethan, and he'll feed him formula when he's hungry, and I sleep. So between the hours of like 6, 7, and midnight, that is my time to sleep. So I get a good 3, usually I sleep about 3 hours because it takes me a while to go to sleep. And I put my earplugs in, and I put my face mask on so I don't see the light underneath the door, and or my eye mask, I should say, not face mask, eye mask. And I put earplugs so I don't hear him crying, because if I hear him crying, there's no way I'm going to go to sleep if I hear him crying. And I try to get some sleep. And then at midnight, I either get up and nurse him if he's ready to nurse or eat, or I pump if sometimes he'll have eaten right before midnight. So I'll pump if that's the case. And then he sleeps for another couple hours, and he sleeps in our little DACA tot that we have on our bed right there. And my husband lays down, and my husband can sleep through anything. So he sleeps, I sleep also. About 50% of the time I manage to sleep for another hour or two. And then around 3, he wakes up again and we nurse. And then I try to get him to sleep for another hour or two, and sometimes I get another hour of sleep if I can. And that has been my go-to. Now, we didn't start doing that till I think it was the second week. The first week, we were just we would take turns, but none of us was sleeping, and it was really hard. So, the sleep deprivation got to me very fast, and yeah, that was challenging. But I am getting more sleep, even though it comes to about like 5-6 hours a night. To me, that is way more, because with my daughter, I was only getting like 2, maybe 3 hours. So, and then I try to take a nap sometime during the day. And that's what we've been doing to get through this postpartum period. So one of the things that are going well this time around is I am eating. With my daughter, I had no appetite because I was depressed. And so I'm eating. I'm hungry. I have an appetite. Food sounds good. My comfort foods sound good. So that's great. I'm also getting enough sleep. Not enough, but I'm getting way more sleep. My body is healing faster this time around. So, yeah, I'm feeling much better. I feel like I'm bouncing back quicker this time around than last time physically. And I have a really supportive partner. I mean, I can't speak highly enough of my husband. He has been so helpful in this process, and he helps out so much with my daughter and with the house, and taking care of the baby so I can take naps and make sure I get a good chunk of sleep every night. It's awesome. What's been going kind of bad? Well, sleep. I still need more sleep. We're trying to get, we're working. We're trying to figure out how it all works. It's the first few weeks are crazy, and since I've already been through it once, knowing that this is a phase and it'll pass, it makes it much more bearable. Whereas with my daughter, I thought, like, oh my God, I'm never going to sleep again. This is horrible. So, the balancing of two children has been very hard. My hat's off to moms who have multiple children. That has been the hardest for me. I feel like my daughter is not getting enough attention, and I know she feels a little bit abandoned. She's talked about it to me. She's like, I feel like you never spend time with me anymore, Mommy. And the mom guilt is really hard. Yeah. So I've told her this is a phase. He's gonna grow up and start sleeping more and not screaming so much, so I don't have to bounce him all the time. The crying has been really hard for her and me. Again, it's a phase. I've had to tell her that, and myself, like, it's just a phase. He will grow out of this. The other thing that's been really hard, because we're still in the pandemic, and right now Oregon cases are going up through the roof, and so it's really hard asking for help, because you don't want people coming into your house right now with COVID cases on the rise. So there are so many people I have like a huge supportive group of people right now, but especially the first 2 weeks when you're back from the hospital, I don't want anybody coming to my house, because we just came from the hospital and there was COVID cases at the hospital. So, it's just, yeah. So that's been really hard. The other hard part has been, oh gosh, so right before I delivered my son, that weekend before, we sold our condo. And so I delivered him on Wednesday. That following Monday, we had an inspection, and we're supposed to be out of the house for the inspection. But I had just delivered a baby, and the inspector and the realtor, the buyer's realtor, they all were very understanding. They said, you know what, you can stay. So we had an inspection, and I was here. It was really stressful. Also, we ended up putting an offer on a house during this time after the baby was born. And so prior to the offer that we put, which was like in week 2 we put the offer, but week 1 and 2 we were going to open houses. We were going and having our realtor to show us houses because we need, we sold our condo. We need to find a place to go. So that has been very stressful. But we found a house. We're still in the inspection process of the house. There's some things that need to be fixed. But hopefully we'll be moving there next month. So yeah, that's been very stressful. It's a good thing, but it's been also kind of a bad, stressful thing. So emotionally, how am I doing? I am doing pretty good. I did have, like, the first 2 weeks were very, very emotional. I cried a lot of tears, and it wasn't just like overwhelmed tears. It was tears of joy, tears of laughter, tears of sadness, tears of overwhelm, tears of, oh my God, this is hard. It was an emotional roller coaster. Yeah, and the sleep deprivation doesn't help. So that's been that was hard, but yeah, after week 2, it started feeling better, and I don't cry over every little thing. But yeah, I did have some emotions. My anxiety. I did have the anxiety of, oh my gosh, my baby's gonna stop breathing. Check him a million times. Not as bad as with my daughter. I'm able to sleep, which is huge, when he's sleeping. And that's been a big, big, big plus. So I feel like I do have a little bit of anxiety. I think my anxiety level is probably like a normal new mom anxiety level right now. But it's not crazy. So yeah. There's a couple times I felt like a failure when he's crying and I can't comfort him, or he won't nurse. Yeah. So anyways, that is pretty much it. So that's week 1 and 2. I hope this video is a little bit better than my last one that I tried to record. It's a little bit long, but that's because I'm covering 2 weeks. And thank you so much for watching. Bye. Also, give a video a thumbs up if you like it. Thanks.